a show. Who is
It's Pete Scarpiniti, and I want to know who he is too.
You want to know who he is? Well, I'll tell you what. I've known Pete for probably 15 years. I'm almost not as long as I've known you, but he's been on PWI. He's been there lurking in the background. He reached out to me. Oh man, like when you and I started doing these things, when we first started doing the show, he reached out and says, "Man, I want to be on with you and John." He goes, "I got a hell of a story to tell." So a couple of guys, John, reached out to me in the last, 3 weeks. People have been going, "Ron, I want to be on there with you and John. I want to tell everybody about my deal." Just to give a little bit of background, John and I started this thing. What did we start? A couple months back, John?
Yeah, I would say probably 2 months ago, somewhere around there.
We started. John had me on Tournabenny on Tuesdays, which we still got to do that, John. We got
Tuesdays with Tournabenny, like Tuesdays with Maury.
We got to do Tuesday with Tournabenny. We got to at least do it once a month. I mean, we got to do the show, and keep that going. But John and I hooked up. Like, there's a lot of guys out there, as everybody knows. John's coming to the F9 event, which is on the 13th and 14th of November. Possibility we may get him to show up, but there's no confirming. He might come out to Houston on the 9th, 10th, or the 11th. He's down in Florida in his vacation house, but he might show up. Those are all free events. But John's doing what he's doing with Craig Harrison's event on the 14th at 1 o'clock. He's putting on his garage cleaning show, guys. So if you guys have not signed up for the garage cleaning show, make sure you go to Clean County. The link's right down there below. It's running across the screen. You can see it moving real slow right down there. Wait, it's going this way. There it is right there. Whoa.
Tournabenny's garage cleaning.
CleanCounty.com, parking garage cleaning class right there, guys. If you Google that, you'll find it. If you just Google expert garage cleaning, teaching, boom, it'll pop right up.
Yeah, you put parking garage cleaning in? No. Parking garage cleaning. Just put that in. You're going to see the class pop up #1 in the country.
How? It'll be right there, guys. Right there, guys. So, man, what's going on this week? You did some sweeping yesterday, John, or today, or what'd you do?
Oh, yeah. Well, my crew is, I have a small operation. We keep the crew very busy. So they were out working Friday all week, this past week. And so I went out Friday night and I took the sweeper and I went over to Jersey and did the accounts over there. And I came back yesterday night, and then today I'm in the shop here because, I maintain the equipment for the guys. I clean, and they generally do the sweeping as well, but it's so easy to do that, so I don't mind doing that. And then today I got the sweeper all cleaned up, cleaned out the filters and whatnot in it, and then I got the guys ready because tomorrow they're going to be here at 6:45 in the morning. My 3 main guys, and they're going to be heading out to a condo complex. And the beauty of my business, Ron knows. My wife is a big part of this thing. She pretty much runs it. It runs itself. So when they're going to be gone for 2 weeks, I'm going to stop up there. I'm going there tomorrow to go over a few things. And then I might go there one more time in the next 2 weeks. So, and I'll be working on my Phoenix class the next week or two as well. So things are, we're staying busy, man. I can't wait to get to Phoenix, though.
You were talking about that, and I don't really give garage cleaning tips here when we're going to be interviewing somebody, but I was laughing about that because you were telling me about this garage being swept monthly and it's the regular.
Oh, yeah.
And then you were talking, I think 2 days ago, you were only doing some breezeways and some stairwells on a garage.
Yeah.
You were doing
good money in that.
People don't know that's the stuff that gets done more often than anything. They want to do those either the catwalks or the stairwells. Because if there ever is an emergency, and there are people that just take the stairs, there's people that don't use elevators. So they'll, even though it's an emergency exit out of the garage, there's people that walk down that. And the last thing they want are trip hazards, spiders, and pests that can potentially bite somebody. And then they wind up with a lawsuit. People don't realize that sometimes that's the way to sell a garage, because when you know that the customer's in need of something like that, and that's an important trigger for them, they're gonna go, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. Right. He understands garage cleaning. Now, I know you're gonna give some tips in your class. The infamous, I'll tell you why I hate garages, is the elevator shafts, man.
You gotta watch out. I know stories about that.
Yeah. Oh man, thousands of dollars guys cost themselves messing around.
A good friend of ours that was on our show a couple weeks ago. I'm not going to mention his name. He was on 2 weeks ago. And he tells everybody anyway. It cost him $35,000. The mistake he made.
Yeah, it's craziness. Crazy.
And it's easy to avoid that. I'll show him my PowerPoint how to avoid that.
Introduce Pete, and we'll let Pete talk. We'll let Pete come on and talk, and let him kind of introduce himself to everybody.
All right,
here, Pete.
All right, Pete. Pete Scarpiniti. Is that
Good
right,
evening,
Pete?
guys. How are you guys? John, Ron?
Hey, Pete. How do you say your last name, Pete? Is it Scarpiniti?
It's Scarpiniti.
Right. Okay, Scarpiniti.
It's scarps in Italian are shoes, obviously, and neat is neat, right? So you got neat shoes.
There you go. My last name Tornabeni, and well, I'm Sicilian, but in Italian, it means to turn well.
Oh,
I'm still waiting for that to happen.
So you're Sicilian, I'm Calabrese.
Okay. Not far apart. A
little opposite sides of the tracks, but you know.
Yeah. Depends which side you want to be on, you know.
I grew up in the old Italian neighborhood, like Melrose Park, Hillside area out here. Okay. I mean, my whole life, you know, I had a very big Italian family. I mean, one brother, one sister, but a lot of cousins, a lot of family.
Right.
I mean, my dad put me to work at like 7 years old. I was watching cartoons.
It's an Italian thing.
He come walking in the room. He's like, "You're going to start a business." I go, "I'm 7. You know, what do you want me to do?" So I started shining shoes at my dad's barbershop when I was 7 years old. He used to take me on the weekend. So all the guys come in the shop. I was making money when I was 7 years old, and he taught me responsibility from there. So, I mean, he passed away last year in February, 84, but he taught me the work ethic that I have today.
You know, there's a great comedian out now, Sebastian Maniscalco. You know who he is?
Maniscalco, yeah.
Maniscalco. And you know what? He talks a story similar to what you're talking about. And he was over here in Huntington. We cleaned the Paramount Theater. I saw Kevin James there last year. We cleaned that whole area there. And I should have went to see him because he sells out that you can't believe.
He's phenomenal.
He's like the top comedian in the world right now. But he talks about, like what you said, at 7 years old, his friends were all playing baseball. His father tells him at 7 years old, "Go get a job."
It's pretty similar. I met him in person. He was here in Naperville, Illinois. He was on a book signing, and I met up with him. We talked for like 35 minutes. There's a picture on me on Facebook with him. So
do you know what all three of us have in common?
What's that?
Our parents never had a job.
Your parents never had a job?
Yours never had a job. Your father was a barber.
My dad was a barber. My brother's a dentist, and I'm the power washing guy.
Never had a job. John's father, I don't think. Did your father ever have a job?
Yeah, well, you know, it's my father. Yeah, he had a job, but my father he became the vice president of a nationwide company, and then the company went belly up when one of the kids took it over. So my father started his own company at 55. My mother said, I just became a cop back then. My mother says, if he fails, we're going to support this family. And my father, he actually built hoods. Like in our industry, they clean hoods. My father's company built the hoods. They built the toll booths. And in the end, my father sold this company, and he had 150 employees, and he consulted. And my father, you know, I worked for my father when I was younger. My father rose up the ranks fast, but I know what Ron's saying. It technically, my father, he owned the company. He didn't create a job for himself. He created a company, and he took a mortgage. He had no mortgage on his house. He put it all towards the company, and he ran it. And my father says, and my father and mother, 84 years old, they live out by the water, out towards the Hamptons. Mm-hmm. And my father says he knows my story here with my pension and my business. And my father tells me, he goes, "You have it so much better than I ever did." And I don't really expand my company. I can, but I have a tight niche, and we just keep busy all the time. So, but Ron's right. I didn't create a job. In the beginning, I created a job, but then I created a company. So
I guess we do have a lot in common then. I mean, as far as that, I mean, I'm 50, but you know, I started out at a really young age. So
it's amazing.
You know, work ethic was just pounded into me day after day. So I didn't really have much of a childhood. So
right, man. I was selling candy on a street corner at 9 years old. We had a lawnmower business. I think I was 10 or 11. I also delivered newspapers, and my family, my cousins owned Tropicana routes. And my Uncle Tony offered me to go in there when I got called in for NYPD. He says, "John, $10,000, we'll cut you in." And, you know, my cousins all did really well, but, you know, they have warehouses now. I took the cop route. I'm glad I'm not a cop today. going on?
So you were a police officer, obviously, and you were a cop, and then you got into the power washing business, huh?
Yeah, but you know what's funny? I was a cop. I came on the force back in '87. I started my power washing company in '96, and I retired as a cop in 2011. 16 of those years, I was still a cop and power washing. So right now, I did 25 years as a cop. This is going to sound crazy. This is my 25th year as power washing.
Wow.
And I don't plan on leaving this industry until probably I'm 59. And my father really worked till he's 80 with consulting. And I told Ron, you guys are all going to be gone. I'm still going to be here. I love this industry. I'm not going nowhere.
Well, I kind of stumbled on this industry on accident, kind of. So
let's
tell your story.
Pete.
There's a story behind it all.
Who's Pete Scarpiniti?
I mean, how far do you want me to go back? I mean, okay, let's go back.
Back to the beginning and fast forward us to
Let's go back into the archives. Let's go back to 1988. Okay, that was my my graduating year in high school. Okay, I never graduated. I was 13 credits behind. Okay, I left home. I ran away from home at 15.
Oof.
Okay, I bought an old station wagon from a teacher for $300. I didn't have no money. I had a job. I worked at Bally's Health and Fitness. I was an instructor in the bodybuilding.
Really?
business.
I used to go there. Not yours.
So back in the day when it was Chicago Health Club or Bally's or whatever it was,
Jacqueline.
I was certified with the company. So I was working there, but I was living in my car.
Wow.
My parents, they wanted me to come home. So I was a runaway, basically. So the police are looking for me. So every hotel I went to or the car I went to, I was out the back door. Okay. I wanted to be on my own. I always wanted to be on my own since I was 7 years old.
Wow.
Not normal thoughts as a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, but I was taught independence at a young age. But anyways, so basically I survived on ramen noodles and cans of beans. I didn't have any money. The people that I worked for when I worked at Bally's Fitness, they would actually let me sleep in the office over there. They knew what was going on. They would actually give me more money on my paycheck because they knew about the hardships I was having. So I got out of that business and I moved myself from Melrose Park, Hillside area to Woodridge, Illinois. I had friends that lived out here. They said, hey, you want to come stay with, us and stuff. And there was like 4 or 5 other guys and I was sleeping on the floor. Okay. So I worked for a moving company. I was in the moving company with like United Van Lines and Cord North American. I did that for a little while. That didn't really work out too much. So I saw an ad in the paper. I was always looking at ads in the paper for a job. And it said window cleaner wanted. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm going to give that a try. Now I'm 16, 17 years old. Okay. I don't have much patience at that time. Okay. So I always wanted something, that I would learn quick. I knew nothing about window cleaning. So I was hired on to the job by a company called Budget Window Cleaning back in the day. You're talking probably about 89, around that time, 88, 89. Answered the ad. I went in there. He said, no experience necessary. We'll train the right person. So he hired me. Took on the job on window cleaning. The guy was training me. And he would actually sit there and smoke a cigarette and watch me squeegee this pane of glass. Now, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. He wasn't really watching me. So I took all the equipment and I threw it in the street. Okay. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't. I have no patience for this. So when I started working there, I had to go to my boss and say, he goes, well, now what are you going to do? I said, well, I guess I owe you some new equipment. He goes, Pete, you got to be patient. You got to learn this. Okay. It took me a month. I became a crew leader for the window cleaning company. He went out of business shortly, probably after about a year. So you want to talk about bad luck, 1 year, 6 months, 3 months. It was always job to job to job, apartment to an apartment. I went through probably about 19 apartments that I lived in. Okay. Didn't have a house, didn't have good credit, paid everything with cash. Okay. So I started this window cleaning thing. Well, actually, I was still working for the moving company, kind of like when you worked for the police department and you still did your power washing.
Right.
So I did both. So on the weekends, I would do my window cleaning. And what happened was a lot of people along the way, they would be like, what are you doing window cleaning for? What are you doing all that? You're never going to make anything yourself. Well, I was making more money on the weekend than I was on my regular job.
Right.
Okay. I was working for North American Van Lines moving furniture. They laid me off about one day before I was going to be in the union.
Oh,
One
wow.
day. Okay. So that means I was nothing but a number to them.
Right.
Okay. I walked out of there at 17 years old and said, whatever success I will create will be my own. Okay. So I started Powerhouse Window Cleaning and Power Washing. Okay. So that's the birth of that. That's how that started. So I did a lot of jobs through Oak Brook, through Downers Grove, through Woodridge, in the towns that I was out here. Started advertising. Most of my business was 50-50. I had commercial and I had residential. So along the way, okay, I call them little green lights in my life, okay? And there's a lot of sayings I live by, like bumper stickers, as you would say it, okay? You want to define your success, okay? You want to take the hill, but you want to find out what your hill is, okay? So basically, when I started from there, I started advertising for Powerhouse Window Cleaning and Power Washing. Local ads, they didn't have the internet like this. They didn't have none of this stuff back in 88 and 89, as you know. So I would run ads in the paper, in the local paper, window cleaner, power washers, and I started out with a small little machine. You're talking, 3 gallons, 4 gallons a minute. It was a little Simpson power washer. I remember going and buying this machine. And one of the guys said to me when I bought the machine, somebody's going to make some money. And that resonated in my head. I'm like, well, he must know something that I don't. Okay. So I went on and on and on, plugging away, getting more customers, getting more jobs. Got to the point where I met somebody along the line. His name was Paul, and he owned a company, a window cleaning company. He came up to me and he goes, let me have your card, your business card. I'm like, he's a competitor. I'm not going to give him my card. Right away. Right away I thought that. So anyhow, he gives me his card and I give him mine. We end up talking and he wanted to sell me his business. He wanted to sell me Flynn Service Pro, which he did probably about 10 or 12 Jewel food stores. Okay. So I bought the business from him. I started doing his routes. I had 8 jobs. I turned 8 jobs into 65. Power washing and window cleaning for 65 Jewel food stores. So during the day, I was doing my residential. And at night, I was doing Jewel, all the parking lots, all the front, the walkways, all the gum, everything. So obviously I had to get bigger, so I had to buy more equipment. So I ended up buying from Powerline. I got, 8 gallons a minute, 4,500 PSI, 210 degrees of heat. And I do everything single-handedly. I don't have any employees. Number one, I got bad luck when it comes to employees. So I want to do my own jobs. Obviously, John, you have your employees. Ron, you've had yours. But single-handedly, I brought this business I saved over $3 million.
Wow.
Okay. I've paid off my house. I've paid off all my debt. And I went from there. And I started out with 0. There was people in my life, they would tell me, you're not going to make it, Pete. You're not going to make it. But I kept plugging along. I kept doing what I needed to do. And I always said to myself, don't spend any time with anybody or anything that antagonizes your character. Look for good mentors. You guys, perfect. Okay. I've been watching a lot of this stuff from way back when. That's why when Ron said, 15 years now, I was always back in the woods, not really saying much, listening, learning, you got
Not like me and Ron, we're going like this back and forth. Go ahead.
But you learn from that stuff though.
Yeah.
Okay. Never put a fictitious roof over your success. A lot of people do. Okay. Once they reach a limit, they're like, okay, I'm comfortable. I'm good. This is as far as I'm going to go. No, you're going to go past that. Okay. If you're capable of getting more business, you could do that. Okay. You can get off your butt. You can go out and meet people. You can go talk to people. Okay. I'm living proof of this. Okay. Like I said, I had nothing. Okay.
Right.
I was living on pork and beans and ramen noodles. Okay. I had a credit score of a 500. They wouldn't even give me a loan for anything. So I had to rent
With that score.
the place. Okay. So I built everything from scratch. I mean, it's kind of a shorter story that I'm telling you, but you know what? It's better to jump than fall. Okay.
Pete, Truth Seeker says that you read Matthew McConaughey's book. You've never read Matthew McConaughey's book, have you?
No.
Does he have a book? That guy smokes a lot of pot.
He just came out with a book called Green Light. I do want to read it. I don't read books.
It's a good book.
But so you did read it?
I listened to it on audio.
Okay,
I listened to it on audio.
Well, good call, Truth Seeker. He knew you read it.
Truth Seeker must have read it too, then I guess, huh? But it's not that I'm copying off of his book. Okay.
Right.
These are things that I've told myself even when I was younger, and I didn't realize it, to keep moving forward. Okay.
Yeah, I think the message is universal with anybody that's in business. I mean, we've all had those trials and tributes. I mean, the bottom line, the thing that I guess I want most people to understand here, and I guess why I'm going to do this thing, you're the first guy on this thing, man. I mean, I'm going to have another guy next week, and I think I'm going to start this as a regular thing because I really think that John and I were just talking about it before you came on. We were chatting a few minutes ago. You're not a guru in the industry. You're just a regular guy. You know what I mean? And I don't think that people understand that there are just regular guys out there. And I guess the message the thing about this type of thing we can do is we can show these young guys, that are out there right now. And there's a lot of them that are having a lot of real great success. But we all know that things go like this sometimes, man. And
we're going to go up and down. You're going to have your peaks and valleys.
That's right. And there's a lot of them right now that have been on a really good ride, and they don't understand that it bottoms out. We all remember waking up on February 29, 2008.
Oh, God,
I mean, I woke up on 80. I remember 72. I was a kid, but I remember 72 because my old man was in the transportation business. I remember there was no fuel. And if you're in the transportation business and you ain't got no fuel,
odd even days, you got
a problem, Right. And I don't think these young kids. I mean, they really this situation that we find ourselves in now. I don't want to say it's been good for the cleaning industry, but I think that people now with what clean really is going to matter, it's going to have to happen. And I think that our industry is set for nothing but to improve, to move further along and to see these things go well. But getting back to what I was saying is don't quit. It's just you don't quit. You don't
never give up.
The only person that fails in this situation of any entrepreneurship is you. That's it. You're only going to fail yourself by quitting. Absolutely. And there are so many guys in this industry that are quitters, and they don't understand they're this close to succeeding, and they wind up quitting.
Ron, there's a saying to that, and the saying is very well known: winners never quit, and quitters never win. And I went through that in 2008. You guys know I lost $100,000 in the Swabi franchise. 10 of us bought into this thing, and 9 guys went bankrupt, including the creator of the whole thing, Bill Clemens. And I'm still here. I owed $100,000. The bottom fell out in 2008 for me on that. But, I just never stopped. And I always told people, they're like, John, how did you get through? My wife wanted to stay home with our kids. And I used to work on the side cleaning pools, cutting grass. And I ended up starting a power washing thing. And she's never gone back to work 25 years later. And my kids are excelling. And they said, John, how did you get through this stuff? And this is what I said. I said, I refuse to fail. It comes down to I refuse. If I got to work 24 hours, like Pete's saying here he's working one job, he's doing another. He's out. He's doing residential during the day, commercial night. Did the same thing. I had a sleep disorder, Ron. You know that. I said some stuff on the internet because I had a serious sleeping disorder.
Really?
Ron knows that. It got me in trouble. We used to go to events, and like Tom Vogel from HR Products would put up, when I walked in, he would put up what I said. It would be plastered on his shop. Look what tournament he said. And I'm like, I had no sleep, but I refused to fail.
Right. Well, you know what? If you're not failing, you're not trying.
That's true.
Okay. So
it's true.
You find out who you're not to find out who you are. But
that's right.
This isn't all about philosophy here. Okay. This is real life stuff, and it could really happen to you. And I think a lot of the underdogs out there, and if you're just starting out, just keep plugging away. Okay. Because you will shine one day, and you will make money, and you will pay your bills. And you know what? Know what you're worth. Don't take anything less. Okay. Because there's people out there. I mean, if you're not good with people, when you're a kid, what does your parents used to tell you? Don't talk to strangers. Don't do this. Don't do that. Right? Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That kind of shies you away from
cars with complete strangers and take rides from them and give them money.
Right. But that affects you, though, in talking to people directly, okay, later in life. Okay. I mean, I was offered a job at the fire department. I passed all the tests and everything. I was going to take that job. I was making more money in the power washing and window cleaning industry than when I was 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to do this full time. This is my mistress. This is what I'm going to do. And I just stuck with it, and it's a real story for real people out there. And I'm sure that everybody's got other struggles right now with stuff. And a lot of people are saying, well, I can't get as much for the job, or I can't do this. Get what you're worth. Look into it, learn it, watch shows like this, talk to people that have experienced it, and you will learn. And you will learn what you're worth.
Hey, Pete, quit hitting that desk. But anyway.
I do that too. Hey, I'm always doing that.
I'm getting violent over here.
Hey, no, there's this thing here, Corey Flannery here. Don't be the cheap guy. I got to tell you, man, I've talked to Pete nowhere near as much as John, but I've talked to Pete regularly for, a few years now. And he came out here looking for a house here this past wintertime.
Arizona?
Yeah, he brought his girlfriend out here. He didn't find one. Thank goodness he didn't buy one yet. The market's going to crash, I think. I believe it's going to, especially the type of house I think you're looking for. I think the prices are going to come down here.
Yeah, you don't want to buy now, or we'll go to the roof.
This thing here, don't be the cheap guy.
Right.
And I know that Pete, with talking to him as much as I have, and even John, I know both these guys. They are not the cheap guy. I mean, there is no way. We've even laughed about it without mentioning names. We've talked to some mutual people that will do $75, $150. We saw a granite job, man, and we both said like $1,800. I think the guy did it for $150, man.
Crazy.
I was like, wow.
I turned down a lot of stuff. I mean, people call me on the phone and they're like, well, the other guy is going to do it for this amount. And I says, well, I can't.
Go have him do it.
That's what I said. I said, I can't do it. What do you mean you can't do it? I said, I can't.
No, you're out there doing the work. You want to get top dollar. But I know with dealing with some large companies, and Ron knows, my biggest competitors got 26,000 plus employees. With these, I talk about this in my class because I lost. I'm 0-3 against them, and I bid on one of President Trump's garages, and they beat me. But you know what? It's a long story, but to make a long story short, what people don't realize, though, you got to watch out here. That $99 guy they keep talking about, most of them fail. But occasionally, now my biggest competitors like this in the garage world, they're 26,000 plus employees. They do that low pricing, and they do it. They're snakes. And if they're watching this stuff, they're probably going to want to sue me. But, but what happens here is they come in for a certain thing, like parking garage, the power washing part. They come in pennies to $1. I can't beat them. I can't operate my company like that. But what they do is they have all these other things attached with it. They have the valet parking, the striping, the concrete repair, the light fixtures. They wrap it all in. So you got to be careful with that. A lot of guys in the industry are like, oh, look, the cheapest guy in the world. Most of the times, I would never go out like Pete. I would never go out for cheap. And I used to pick and choose my jobs because I always could fall back to the cop job. So I was always the highest guy when I was out by myself. And I could pick it. And I always advertised more than most people. But you got to watch out with that model. But if you're an owner-operator or you got a 2-3 man crew, you never want to be that cheap guy. Never.
No. I mean, there's a lot of competition out here in Illinois, and there's like bubbles and fish. There's all kinds of stuff. Okay. I'm just a local guy here in Naperville. I live 189,000 people live in my town.
How far are you from Chicago, the city?
I'm about 35 minutes.
Ron, there's our connection because Ron's from Chicago. Did you know that, Pete? You know that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And I also when I joined the military and Navy, I could go anywhere I want, but I went buddy with my friend of mine, and he's about as dumb as a stump. So what happened to me was they offered me Florida, San Diego, but my friend can only go to Chicago. We call it the great mistakes, right? So I went with my friend. He was my wedding party. I went with him. And so what happened was we ended up by Chicago, the Navy boot camp out there. And I used to go to the Sears Tower. It's not that no more. We used to party in Chicago. So, Ron, there's the real connection. I probably crossed paths. Pete's out there cleaning the window.
We probably did. I mean,
no, you know what? That was 1982. No, you were still too young. But there's the real connection. Ron is from South. Ron, are you Southside Chicago?
Yeah, I was born in Blue Island, and then I don't have these stories like you guys living in these upper echelon areas, man. Where I lived was a shithole, okay? I mean, that's where I was at. It's kind of funny that, I've never ever wanted or needed anything, but the similar story to Pete's story, I was making change, I remember, in my mother's gift stores, probably 7, 8 years old. Man, I was counting change back to customers. And then I worked in her warehouse because she manufactured all the ceramic and all the things. I don't know if he knows there's a big warehouse called Tuscanini, but they supplied probably half the nation in plaster Paris and those type of craft things. My mother did that, and it was funny, John, because you might get the connection here. She did do-it-yourself art classes and painting classes in a big way in the 70s. Like, I remember she would have 80 students in a classroom inside of her warehouse instructing them how to paint these things. It was crazy. Wow. And I would run around. I'd make coffee, and I'd run around with coffee and serving sandwiches. And when I did that, then I got to go to my grandfather's poker game and serve alcohol and sandwiches, which you never get to do that nowadays. Oh, but I would sell them cigarettes. At this time, cigarettes were $4 a pack, and they thought it was insane. I would get $10 a pack at a poker game for it.
Oh, God, yeah.
So you were making money when you were a kid, too.
Oh, man, cigars, man. I mean, they would – and this is I'm only 9 or 10 years old, man.
You see the connection?
I left that poker game a couple times, I know, with more money than most of them left.
But you learn these things when you're young. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you're doing this stuff, you might not think so, but later on in life, it does pay off. Look where we're at now. We're all in the same industry.
Right.
Okay. Never thought that I'd be in this industry. Never thought that I'd be this far in this industry, and by myself doing it. Can I have a crew of people? Yeah. I could.
Hey, you know what though, Pete? You know what? The difference from you to me and Ron, you're probably going to make it to 100 years old.
I don't know.
I have great guys. I have 3 main employees, been with me 9 to 13 years. But Ron's had a much bigger company, and you know what? Sometimes dealing with employees, they are. When you have a good employee, Ron knows this. They're your most valuable asset. They really are, because they're out there making the money. I don't make the money for the company. But, I got to deal with a lot of stuff. I mean, my father had 150 people. My father was stressed all the time. My father's hair was like this.
Great.
He's like, my father, I told my father years ago, sit down, I'm going to make money laying on the couch. My father, you can't lay on the couch. You own a company. And, people laugh at me today that don't know how I operate my company. They're like, John, we always see you and Ron on Facebook. Ron's since sold off his big part of his company. What I did was I keep it small for a reason. I can keep the guys busy, and I could do what I want in my time. But you know what?
Yeah.
You're right. And let me tell you something, Pete. I know you're really good at what you do, and I always tell people this though. And I was really good, but my guys are better than me now because they're younger than me. And I always compare it to Mike Trout in baseball. That when I didn't power wash at 22. I did other things, but you get these young guys. If you can give them the right benefits, you treat them with respect. Don't become their friends.
Right.
I fired all my high school friends. I fired my own sister. She's probably watching the show. I'm in trouble. I didn't bring in friends because me.
Family's hard.
My two sisters work for my father, and we all quit because my father's such a perfectionist. He's so hard driven. He loves designing stuff, and we all quit on my father. So it's a lesson.
You know
learned.
what? I've had employees. I'm not going to lie. I've had employees, and they didn't show up.
Yeah.
They didn't come to work. They caused me more stress. They caused me more gray hair.
Right.
Okay. I'm like, I might as well go out and do this. Okay. I'm up at 4:30 every morning to this day.
Right.
I got 3 German Shepherds that live here with me. Okay. Believe me, they keep me up at 4:30 in the morning.
I had German Shepherds all my life. Best dog.
Yeah, I love them. They're all working line German Shepherds, so they get up early. So they're looking at me in the morning going, is he dead? Is he awake? What is it? They're right on top of me, right?
Right.
So I've had employees try to call me and they tell me, hey, I'm looking for a job. I'm like, okay, be at my house at 7 o'clock. Let me see what you got.
They're not there.
You know what they tell me? That's too early, sir. We don't start work till 11:30.
Oh, God, no.
I go, that's why you don't have a job. I said like that. I said by 11:30, I'm done with my second house. You know what I'm saying? I mean, or whatever. I could be on a commercial job, whatever. It doesn't matter, but they don't want to work. There's no work ethic anymore.
Well, you know what the thing with that is, Pete? The problem with that is, my family, like your family, we come from Italy, right? My family built Fordham College in up here in New York City, right? My father's father and all them came over, and they all were Masons, right? So the work ethic was so big. But now in America, look, I fired more guys to get to my guys. My 3 main guys, none of them are from this country. They're all legitimate. None of them from the country. All legitimate. They've they all pay into the taxes. We tax them all, and they are such hard-driven guys. Yeah. Like every day when my wife gives them the jobs, like, what time you want us to go out? 3 in the morning? And let me tell you, that 3 in the morning is big because my main guy, Charlie's been with me 13 years, and he's missed one day because he had to go to court, won a court case when they never paid his unemployment. But he missed 2 days this year because we thought he had COVID. Outside of that, he's never late. He told me in El Salvador, listen to this. I said, why do you always tell Kathy you're going to come in 3 in the morning? He goes, John, because in El Salvador, I used to walk out of my house 3 in the morning to show up at my job by 6. And then he would work 8 hours, make $45 for the 8 hours, and walk home. This is what these guys are like. And my father, I told my father, my Uncle Chuck, Marino & Sons Fish Company in Queens, 4 generations. This is the way the work ethic was in America, right? They're so thankful. And Charlie makes over $40 an hour at me every single hour of the day. He gets paid well. He gets bonuses. All my guys get paid well. But their work ethic is off the chart. Today, with the generation now, they call it the cancel out generation. They want to cancel out everything. They want to cancel out the history. It's called I think it's cancel out generation. They want to play on their phones and make the money off of this. But God forbid they got to go out there and break their ass. And some of them will. But what I found out was the work ethic in my family's history, and Pete, yours the same, I'm sure Ron's as well, really comes from where they came from. America is such a great country today that these people don't realize how good they have it. And if we ever lose it all, the strong shall survive. And that's why I'm still here.
Right. That's why we're all still here.
Mostly you, me, and Ron. We
so what's the odds? What's the odds of, that's why I got frustrated on not hiring anybody. Everybody's like, why do you still work? Why do you get up at 4:30 in the morning and go to work? I said, I like what I do.
Yeah, right. That's what I do.
I like it. It keeps me in shape. I still go to the gym. I still do what I got to do. I'm 50 years old. I mean, how long can I keep doing this? I don't know.
You know what? You can go a long way. I know that there's an Italian guy in my last shop. He was next door to me, and he would build statues. You got to see this guy. And his statues so photographic. He was from Sicily. These statues, like I have by my built-in pool, I got some of the monuments he built.
Yeah.
And the guy was 75, 78 years old.
Wow.
And he says, John, I live for this. I have a great life. I take my family. This is going back 10 years ago. I take my family over to Europe and everything else, and I love it. And really, you know what? I used to be so involved with sports, but today my sport is this industry. I love this industry. I'm driven by it. And you're driven, Pete, obviously, because you love what you do. And you know what? You got a good living.
Yeah.
And we are blessed to be born in America. Really are.
You also got to live a little bit too.
Yeah, you do.
I work today. It's Sunday. I was up at 3:30 this morning. I had to go do a Trader Joe's because they do commercial stuff.
And Pete, you know what somebody would say? Here's the crazy thing. And I've been watching Gary Vee lately, and all these people have, they go to celebrate a Friday, and man, I celebrate every day. And one thing I don't do is I don't go on vacations when other people are on vacations, man.
Right.
Ron, you're giving up on secrets.
I go when the place is busy. I don't try to stand out there. The missus wanted to go one year on a 4th of July, like a couple years back. And I said, really, you think you want to do this? So we went to Disney World and spent the day at the beach. We're like this at the beach, man, shoulder to shoulder. You can't even find a place. People are kicking sand in your face. She went to Disneyland. I didn't go because I said, I don't go. I'm done with Disneyland. I've been there too many times. I'll wait. I'll be at the hotel in the lounge. When y'all get done, call me. I'll go to dinner with you. She gets back at like 5 o'clock in the evening. I said, you going back for fireworks? She says, I'm never going to Disneyland ever again. I go, how many rides did you guys ride? 3. I said 3 rides. That's all. The last time they went, nobody in the park. They rode every ride before noon. And I go, what happened? You had a fast pass. It didn't do us any good. It was still we waited in lines for 3, 4, 5 hours. I was like, we rode 3 lines all day. I said, man,
Ron, you want to hear a horror story?
Hold on. This is the thing about Pete. Today he worked, John.
Yeah, I know.
Do you understand this new generation, this generation you're calling the quit generation, or the cancel out generation?
Cancel out generation. I didn't make that up.
I work every Sunday.
Pete, they would say you're not successful. They would say you are working. First of all, I already said, you work for yourself, by yourself. You worked today. Oh my goodness, he had to work on Sunday. He must not be successful.
No.
And that is so the way these kids, they really think nowadays, is they really think and they believe this stuff. They really do. They believe this. Pete, I want to let John tell his story. He was going to say.
Let me tell you a quick story.
Hold on, John. I'm going to let you tell the story. I want Pete, because we're about ready to wrap up. What do you want to tell? Like, you came on here tonight. What was the reason, man? Why did you want to come on tonight? And let's hear what was the reason? You wanted to come on tonight for a reason. Let's hear it.
I just want to tell everybody, if you are starting out in this business, that you got to be passionate about it. You really got to want to do it. Like Ron said, working on Sundays, working on Saturdays, it doesn't matter. I can actually say that, do I have to work on Sunday? Do I have to work on Saturday? No. It's an obligation that I have for a client. It's an obligation that I had. I had to go on an estimate after that. It's Sunday. It's my day off, really. But it doesn't matter because it's going to go on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's what I want to do. And what I want to pass on to everybody that's starting out, that's having growing pains in the business, don't quit. Keep doing what you love. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Okay? Because when somebody tells you can't do it, you're just going to do it anyways. If you really want it bad enough, you could do it.
That drives me even further, man. Pete,
you can go from 0 to a millionaire. Okay,
millions.
I might not dress like it. I might not act like it. It's an iceberg effect. You heard of the iceberg effect, right? There's the top, then there's the bottom. Okay, people go, I don't understand how he made it. I don't understand how he must be doing something other than power washing and window cleaning. They don't see the bottom of the iceberg. They don't see the pain. Right. They don't see the agony. They don't see you getting up early in the morning. They don't see you working on the weekends. They don't see you doing that, making the phone calls, signing the contract. They don't see that, okay? They see what they want. They see a nice car. They see this. They see that. Right. Oh, he's got to be doing something else than window cleaning and power washing because that's a poor man's job, right?
That's exactly what they think. That is exactly.
They have no clue.
When I tell people I wash sidewalks for a living, because that's all I've ever told them all my life, wherever I'm at, what I'm doing, they just look dumbfounded at it.
Right.
I quit telling guys that I'm a power washer, because when you say you're a power washer, there's 19 different things that guys will think that you do. So I just clean sidewalks, and I just tell them that. And then they draw their own conclusion. You mean with a power washer? Well, technically, any way we can get it clean, we'll clean it with. You know what I mean? Like John uses sweepers, buffers, whatever we got to use. Hey, Pete, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Hang out in the green room.
Thanks, guys.
Take it easy, man.
Thanks, John. Appreciate you having
Nice
me.
meeting you, Pete. Hey, Ron, are we still live?
We are live, man. I'm letting you tell your story, John.
No, my story was this. It's really irrelevant, but you were talking about how you would take your wife, not go into vacation on the prime time. And it's got nothing to do with this stuff. What I did to my wife one year, and Kat, I love you, hon. 1 year for Christmas, I got my wife nothing. And we always hold Christmas. We got 30 people come to my house for Christmas, right? I bought my wife nothing. And I had an agreement with her why we bought her nothing. And it's not that I was broke, because it occurred to me that everything, prices are up going into Christmas. Everybody returns everything the next day. So I was like, Kath, let's go shopping 2 days later. If we're spending $500 a piece, we can get $1,500 worth of stuff. That was the saddest Christmas we had in my house. My wife was not happy. I loved it, but that's the way I thought I was. But I think like you do, that you don't really want to go to a vacation spot in the prime season because it's crazy. I've been to Disney World. What's the one in Florida? Disney World, right? Yeah.
So there's a tip to the young guys. Stop taking vacations when rookies are taking vacations.
Yeah, there you go. And I live not far from, I'm South Florida, but Ron's right about that. Go there out of season, because that way your kids will never forget how they got right on the ride, stuff like that. There's something else I wanted to talk about, but Pete just left. You know what? Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate Pete coming on tonight, and I hear his message, and really you can control what Pete's trying to say is in life, when you're no longer under your parents' shield, you want to be able to control your own destiny. And he's doing it. If he wants to work Sunday, he works Sunday. If he wants off Monday and Tuesday, if he's, when I used to golf, I can't golf no more. I'm the only guy that gets injured golfing. I tore my tendon in golf. I don't golf no more. I used to go to the country clubs on Mondays at Connections. They're always closed on Mondays. Well, we never work Mondays, so I can golf. You control your own destiny. I think Pete's message is clear. And Ron, we should keep him in mind. I was showing Ron earlier, if you people could look, Vegas and Jersey. My goal is to crack these places. I've been there before, both of them. And I think Pete should be considered maybe if he wants to come to these places. I think there's more owner-operator type guys in the industry, Ron, than anything else. And you need a guy that can tell you, like him, he's fought the fight. He's got to where he's got. He controls his own destiny. That's so big in life. You only come around once. When Pete talked about the past,
there's no doubt in my mind that there are more single operators. Probably.
Oh my God! Maybe a helper.
95, 97%. Then
way up there.
Then probably like 3 or 4% have anywhere from 5 to 10 units, I think. And then there's the guys that maybe have 30 or 40, but they're the real. I mean, think about all the guys we know with 30 or 40 trucks. It's like you can name the guys on maybe one hand, So, I really feel badly, John, for these young guys out there, because I see their companies growing exponentially, and I see a lot of them. And we know, you and I both know, there's a lot of debt. And
oh my God, yeah.
And if they get caught in this debt trap, man, they're in trouble. You know what I mean?
You know what I learned, Ron, and you know this. Look, let me tell you, people, whatever I say here, there's nothing Ron doesn't know. Okay. He's been there. He's done it. If you look at my post today, I call Ron like the Trump train. Ron, you have unlimited energy. If you look at my post, and I put it in my bigger group, and I don't know, some people are going to come in and try to beat me down, but I always speak the truth. Ron's done it all. He's been there. He's done it. What I learned in business was, and if Pete's still watching this, he probably knows he had employees. We run 2 to 3 trucks, right? Now, it's very, very profitable, right? There's a number. When you get up to 7 or 8 trucks, when you get to that range in our industry, you can really go bankrupt. Because what happens here is when you get to that level, and I noticed from talking to many, many contractors, I tried to expand years ago. I even had a sleeper box truck with a little kitchen in it. I had all this stuff. I was trying to expand years ago, but what I learned was now my father, like I told you, had 150 employees. I could expand, I could go that route, but I want to make it to 100, like my grandmother did, 102. And you know, I have goals in life, but there's a number, Ron, 5 to 7 trucks. When you start going past that, you got to be careful because for one thing, you don't keep those guys busy; they quit. Now, for another thing, now you have more work coming in. You don't have the workers to cover it. They now strike you out.
How many stories have we heard where the guy said, I mean, I could think of a bunch of them. They go, I was making more money when I was a solo operator than I had with 5 trucks. I mean,
well, you know, the thing with that is nobody makes a higher net percentage profit than an owner operator. They make the highest. They can make 60, 70% easy. We make my wife and I probably about 25, 28%, but we have the guys going out. The beauty of my company is I haven't power washed in 10, 12, 14 years. But, you know, the downfall is I have solid guys because what I teach in my Phoenix class, I teach my guys. I'm a good trainer like that. But the downfall is if I go past that and something goes wrong, you know, I got it. Like Pete says, he had guys, I don't want to show up to 11:30. He's telling you that. And when you have a big job or you have multiple jobs going out, you better have a fallback system on that because no way you can go out and do work of 4 people. You just can't do it.
No way.
No way.
Yeah.
And you know what? The other thing I want to say to that, Ron, because Ron had a lot of subs and you had contracts working for you. The one thing I don't like, and I know there's a garage guy teaching us now, I'm not really a fan of hiring temps because the problem with you can go to unemployment office to get temps, but the problem is in our business when you're dealing with high pressure water, Ron knows a lot of pitchers. There's actually a guy one of these pitchers. I should show this picture. He took a drink not my company, took one and blew the side of his cheek out, and that you're done if that happens to you. So, you know, I'm not a fan of just going into unemployment, getting the temp services and do your company. I'm like Ron. I'm an educator, as Ron is. We want to teach you guys how to do this kind of business. And in Ron's case, I know Ron, remember years ago, he had counsel of Arizona. You had him nationwide you were dealing with. I know one of the companies. I worked for one of the companies that Ron was dealing with. We're doing a lot of flat work. That you have to have systems in place. Systems. But to go back to Pete, yeah, I can see Pete's a happy guy. He's got his everything. You want to control your own destiny. And that's really what it comes down to. When I teach my Phoenix garage class, and I have Steel Eagle about to give me a major discount for the class. I have the other 10 vendors in there. You really want to control your own destiny. And the only country you can do that in is here in America. Only country you can control your own destiny. Other countries, I've been overseas. I was in the military. I can tell you stories. We are so lucky to be in America. You know, Canada's great. There's a lot of great countries. I'm not knocking them. But the ultimate American dream, Ron, as you know, is to be in control of your own destiny. You can control it all. If I want to go to my kids, I'm taking my kids to the Keys. We're not going to work that week, and we go to the Keys. This is Florida Keys. So this is what you want in the end, to me at least.
All right, John.
That's it. Oh, wait, before we go, Ron, Craig Harrison, my buddy.
I don't even know where mine's at, man. I lost mine. It's gone.
You probably gave it away. Ron gives everything away. Ron will give you the shirt off his back.
There's a picture.
Ron's always been like that. He'll give you whatever he's got. You know, I don't know why you do that, Ron. That hat, Ron will give it away. Ron will walk down the street and give a guy a hat.
Pair of AirPods, $250. They got lost. Anyways, John, guys, it was a great show. It was great having Pete on. I am going to have a guy on next Sunday. I'm not going to tell you guys this, but this Wednesday, who do we got on? Trudy,
McCoabin.
And who else? Jerry McMillan.
Oh, Jerry's coming on.
We're going to have Jerry and Trudy on. We're going to have both on. We're going to have four people on live. We're going to give them all a little bit of time, and
Nice.
It's going to be a little bit of a fun thing. So we'll have a good thing.
Ron, what's going on next Sunday, though? You said next Sunday.
Next Sunday, I'm going to have another Who Is, but I'm going to leave that one up to guys to tune in and see who it is.
If you do run the same time,
it's
come on with you.
In the industry. Well, whatever time you want to do it, John. It's a guru in the industry.
Working with them. I mean, because Sundays I'm always here. I don't watch football anymore because I'm a veteran. I can't watch the kneeling. I just can't do it. So I can come on if you go Sunday.
Good timing. We'll do it. Okay. When we got time to do it. We're going to do the Who Is, and then we're going to start doing that regularly. Maybe not every week, but we'll do it often. We're going to do Tuesdays with Torna Benny. We'll at least do one here before the.
Well, we can go there next year because I have a lot of stuff on the back burner, as Ron knows. A lot of stuff going on in 2021. I can't wait.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a gas. We got a lot of things going on, guys. We'll see you later. We're gonna go out, guys. Don't forget Wednesday night Garage Cleaning Talk live with John and Ron. Don't miss Trudy and Jerry McMillan from Scirocco Systems, guys. Have a great night.
Good night, guys.